Hi, this is David Troyer with Intero Real Estate, and this is your weekly update for Los Altos Real Estate for February 7th, 2014. So let's jump right in here. Now, when we look at Los Altos, first thing I always like to talk about is, of course, is our new listings that came on. We had 6 total for this week, which isn't a bad week. Not super strong, but not too bad for February. What I thought was kind of interesting, of the 6 new listings that came out, 4 were listed less than $2 million, which is really good for entry-level buyers. We had a real variety of entry-level homes come on. You know, one more of a tear-down E-type house, one on a busier street, one great, nice, really house in the country club area. So we had, I think, a real good assortment from that standpoint. Now, we look at what happened in the last 7 days in the marketplace. We had some great sales. So we had 4 total sales. Now, I think what was interesting of the 4 total sales here, just going through my list real fast, the interesting thing is that a lot of these, because they each had sort of their own, you know, kind of unique aspects to them in either pricing or location, there really wasn't any crazy multiple offers. So of the 4 sales this week, there really wasn't any storylines that are sort of those breathtaking storylines. You can't believe that something sold for this price and things of that nature. But you know, properties that had some issues, like houses that had some, you know, noise issues near 85, or properties that backed up to 280, you know, all did sell. So I think that's encouraging that the market is, you know, is moving forward, and that obviously in the low inventory market, the buyers are having to change their mind a little bit about location, where in a buyer's market, they're going to always do their best not to pick a C location, if you will, when they can get a B or an A location. But in this market, the reality is you don't have as many choices. So I think certainly picking a B or C location is just part of what every buyer is going to have to contemplate when they're thinking about their own family and what they're willing to compromise on and what they're not. Lastly, for closes, there really only was 1 close, happened to be my own listing, was a unique property on Mount Hamilton. By the way, if you see, this will be a quick little educational thing about what we do in real estate here. So you're going to see that the price was withdrawn. So this property did close escrow. It did sell significantly over the asking price. But for privacy's sake, for both the buyer and my seller, we actually have a rule with the Board of Realtors that if you pay a certain amount of money, you actually can withdraw a listing and not expose the price to the MLS. So that is done obviously in very only a few times a year would I ever actually do it. It's really only in situations where the seller or the buyer are very private and really don't want their real estate numbers floating out there. But what is interesting though is, even though the numbers are going to be hidden, eventually on the internet somebody will be able to figure out the sales price, because there are some real estate sites that actually do some research where they go back and calculate the tax number that's generated, and then they can do some math backwards to figure out what the actual sales price was. So, you know, tax records are unfortunately 100% public. So hiding a price, no matter if it's, you know, Larry Ellison's estate in Woodside or a little ranch house, in San Jose, the reality is you can only hide a price for so long, but for some people it is really worth it to at least not have that long-term history sitting out there on the MLS. So certainly talk to your agent about that if you're buying or selling and it's a concern for you. But just so you know, it does cost your agent money to do it. And in this case, we did ask the buyer to cover those costs. So it's just part of the nature of our business. So my expectations, by the way, for this week is that we're going to have, with the new listings on, I think there's a good flow of mixture of properties, and I think a lot of them have a chance to sell significantly over asking, and we should have lots of offers this week. Even though we have a little bit of rain out there, my expectation is that the buyers will be out in full force, and we'll still be interested to see where some of these homes close next week. If I can be any help in your search for a home in Los Altos, certainly reach out to me. I'm David Troyer with Intero Real Estate. Thank you.